16 years ago, I was 21 years old. I had just graduated from college and I moved in with my grandfather, Zecher Tzaddik Livracha, on the Upper West Side of Manhattan. It was one day, it was Simchas Torah, and I told my grandfather, I said, listen, I'm gonna go see some friends, I'm gonna be back in a little bit, I'll be back home in time for lunch, absolutely no problem. And, like a kid, minutes turn into hours, and before I knew it, I came back and it was already dark. I walked into the door and I said his name. I said, Grandpa. I yelled out for him as I was walking in through the door. And when I looked immediately ahead, I saw my grandfather laying on the floor of the living room, and he was unresponsive. He wasn't answering anything. I felt panicked in that moment. I knew enough to call Hatzalah. We had the orange sticker that everybody knows about on the refrigerator. The one thing I couldn't do though was anything beyond that. Hatzalah was there in seconds. They began treating my grandfather, and thank God, he made a full recovery in the hospital. At that moment in time, though, I really made a promise or a vow to myself that, not only would I never put myself in a position where I couldn't help my grandfather or somebody in my family, but I never wanted to be in a position where I couldn't somehow help other people.
For many years, I had a lot of friends who were part of Hatzalah, and I got to see them kind of when they'd get calls and they'd run out, and always admire what they did. But it really wasn't until I actually had to call Hatzalah that I really began to appreciate and understand really their mission. It was a number of years back. My mother was with us for Rosh Hashanah, and right as we were about to sit down to eat, she collapsed at the table. And our instinct was to call Hatzalah, and we called them, and within minutes, we had multiple responders in our door of our apartment, taking care of her, getting her off the floor, checking her, and before we knew it, taking her to the hospital. And that was really the first instance of not just knowing what Hatzalah was, but getting firsthand experience of what they can do for you in the time of need, and really being in awe and appreciative of everything that they do. A few months ago, I literally just began training to be an EMT to join Hatzalah. We were getting Hatzalah of West Orange and Livingston off the ground, and my son had eaten something and kind of wasn't feeling well for a little while, and then all of a sudden we noticed at night that he seemed to be having a terrible allergic reaction. His eyes, his demeanor, he was sick. He really didn't look good. I called Shale. They were here in minutes. They were in our door, examining our son, taking care of him, and we knew he was in good hands. Really just seeing how we can play a role, how we can help members of our community the way they were there for me. It really drove home and made me feel so secure in my mission in joining Hatzalah of West Orange and Livingston and doing this training and being here for members of my community the way they were here for my son and the way they were there for us. I've admired and all the work that they did, and never had the opportunity. As people like Shale and other members of Hatzalah moved into the community, we would ask, do you think Hatzalah will come here? And when the opportunity came to help build something like that here, to make sure that Hatzalah is here in West Orange and Livingston for other people, if God forbid they should need it for their sons, for their daughters, for their parents, for their loved ones, that's what we want to be here for, and I wanted to be a part of that mission.
All right, first of all, welcome back. We have the A-Team back for you, myself, Marty, Rabbi Jacobson. We're going to take this to the very end. We are currently...
The timing of Hatzalah-thon cannot possibly be better. The beauty of what we're able to do through Hatzalah-thon is reach people beyond our local communities. We're reaching folks all around the country, all around the world. We have friends and family that are donating from Eretz Yisrael, Canada, and across the board. And so it's been pretty incredible. We started fundraising just a few days ago, and we've already hit our $25,000 mark, which is 50% of our goal. So we feel really good about achieving our goal, maybe even expanding it, and really grateful for the opportunity to have a platform that's this strong.